Okay, now this is the flow which we are discussing about, right? One second. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Going to our demo artifacts, design, integrations and API. This is our package. Going to the artifacts, and this is what the iFlow we are discussing about, right? Okay, now, so this topic is clear, right? So just treat this as a variables, and we can use these variables at any place, right? And now you see, when I say message means headers, body and attachments, right? Attachments. And when you are triggering some data, when you are triggering data from your postman will also send some headers. Okay, okay. To see those headers, to see those headers along with the message, to see those headers along with the message, or to accept all those headers, what you need to do now, click on the any white space in the integration flow, just open the integration flow properties here, go to the runtime configuration, go to the runtime configuration, and just give the allowed headers as asterisk. Okay, the meaning of this asterisk key here is it will allow, it will allow, we call this as a wildcard also. Okay, wildcard. So it will allow all the headers from the postman which it is sending to the CPA. Okay, now let's see like what are the, okay, we'll execute couple of times, one without the star, the other one with the star. Okay, we'll try to notice the difference now. Okay, let me deploy it. Okay, let me go back here, and hope you guys added on this CPI helper as well, no? Any questions in adding that CPI helper? Did you face any trouble while adding it? CPI helper is just a add-in tool, guys. So some projects may accept and some may not. Okay, now I'm on this page. Click on the traces. Let me close this other window. Okay, going to the postman, sending headers, sending headers. Click on send. Now the body says sending headers. Now the body says sending headers. Let's see. Message. Click on traces and click on the content modifier, or even the end. See here, when I click on the end, you see the tab called headers. You see the tab called headers. So these are the different headers: camel HTTP method header, camel HTTP path, camel HTTP URL. Okay, these are the headers generated by the camel framework, by the camel framework, and these are the headers exclusively to our integration suite SAP. Okay, these headers will be reflecting in the header property, and even you see here where one, where two are the headers, header variable we have created in the, we have created in the content modifier one. Those headers are also going back to the postman. Those headers are also going back to the, not postman, going back to our receiver system. Okay, whatever the data I'm displaying it in the end palette, right, it represents that this data will move to the, this data, whatever this data will move to the target system. Okay, okay, now you see here we have very limited headers, right? We have very limited headers. Okay, let me change our iflow. Let me change our iflow to accept, to accept the headers from your sender system. To accept the headers from your sender system, what you need to do, you just need to place this wildcard and just deploy it. this allowed headers section is very important, guys. Okay, I'll tell you the use cases now. Once you understand, I'll tell you the use cases why we need to use this allowed headers. I think it is deployed. Go to the postman, click on send. What happened? Let's see the error. Okay, okay, no problem. What I will do for the time being, I'll just remove this connection. We'll discuss these errors also. These are the standard errors only. Okay, now click on send. Okay, now you see here, now you see here, um, yeah, hope this screen is visible, no? Now you see, this is the data what we are pushing it from our CPI, right? Along with that, if you go and check here, see here, there are like n number of headers here. Total headers are 38. Total headers are 38 headers are pushing down to the target system. Okay, in short, I can also show you here. It will be easy for you guys. Okay, now you see here headers. Earlier we used to see only camel headers and SAP relevant headers, but now you see accept, accept encoding, authorization, B3, and these are all the different headers which was sent from the postman. Okay, and from here you see camel HTTP. These are all the headers related to our camel framework and CPI, right? See, these many headers are there. These many headers are there in the message. Okay, my whole point here is, if you want to read, if you want to read the headers which was sending by your sender system, then you have to use this option called allowed headers. You have to use this option called allowed headers. Okay, now as I have used this asterisk key, that's why whatever the headers sending by the postman is being recorded in our CPA. But what if I want to read only a particular header? What if I want to hold a only a particular header, right? Then in that case, now I'm creating one header here in the postman. I'll say postman header. The value is I'll say header from postman. Okay, header from postman. Now I want to only allow this header. I don't want to allow all other unnecessary headers like connection, accept, user agent, host. I don't want to allow all this. Okay, all this into our CPA. I just wanted to read the data from this particular header only. In this case, what you need to do, just go to your iFlow. In the allowed headers, instead of asterisk, give your header name. Give your header name, and now just deploy it. And now our integration suite, what it will do, it will only allow this particular postman header from the postman application. Okay, now let me trigger the data. Earlier we have 38 headers. See, now it got reduced to 16. It got reduced to 16. Why it is reduced? Because in the CPA we are not allowing all the headers from the sender system. We are only allowing only one header, that is called postman header. Okay, even you can see the same message in our integration suite CPA as well. Click on this rent symbol, go to this N, and even you see the header. See here, postman header. From where this header is coming? This header is coming from the postman application, and we are explicitly telling the system that, hey, you no need to accept all the headers, just accept this postman header alone. just accept this postman header alone. Okay, any questions on this header concept? Okay, now there is one more next step. So what is this, what is its use case, why we need to allow these headers, what is its use case? Okay, basically sometimes what will happen, from the sender system we used to get some keys. Okay, we used to get some keys, we need to capture those keys in order to communicate with the target system, in those scenarios what you need to do, you need to capture the value, you need to capture the value inside this header, okay, what is the value inside this header? It's a header from postman. Okay, now if you want to capture the data from any header coming from the sender system, then you have to allow this header, go to the content modifier, go to the message header, click on add variable. What I will say, I will give the same header name, postman. This is from header file, right? Select the header and select the value postman. Okay, just deploy it, that's it. Now what it will do, system, whatever the value is there in the header, postman header, what is the value, from postman, right? This value will get stored in our postman header variable. Okay, let me take it as CPI version, okay, to avoid the confusion. CPI postman header. Okay, now let us deploy it, and before we deploy, let me call that value over here. How to call any header property? Header dot what is our header name? Postman header CPI. Give it over here. This is the syntax, if you remember, header dot variable name, right? What is our variable name? It's a postman header CPI, so I'm giving it over here. Now let me deploy it. So triggering this data again, receive 200. Okay, go to the CPI, click on this range symbol and go to this end, go to the body, see here, from where we are printing this information, we are getting this header value from the postman headers, we are capturing, we are reading the data and storing data in our variable, CPI variable, and that variable will hold the header information, and we are just printing that header information in the body. That's it. Okay, I'll do one thing, I'll just draw one diagram so that it will be very easy to remember. So these are all very important. Basically most of the cases you use this option actually. Okay, so far what we are discussing, let me reiterate. Okay, this is very important, that's why I'm going little slow over here. So imagine, okay, this is your sender. Okay, sender, in our case who is the sender? postman Postman is the sender, and this is the integration process. Forget about target for now, we are not dealing with any targets now, we are just trying to understand the message and header concept. Okay, now you already know message contains headers, attachment and body. Body is the place where it holds actual message. Okay, headers contains some key parameters. Okay, header contains some key parameters like tokens or some other any additional information. Okay, now when you are trying to send the data from postman to CPI, postman to CPI, along with the body, along with the body, postman will also send some headers as well. Headers as well, right? These headers may not reach to the CPI, may not reach to the CPI if you don't allow them. If you don't allow the headers, CPI may not record these headers. Okay, it will be voided at the adapter level itself. Adapter level itself. So to overcome this, if you want to read the header values from your center system, what you need to do? We have an option in the CPI integration flow. That option is called allowed headers. Allowed headers. Okay, when you configure this field based on the configuration of this field, the headers from the sender will be recorded in the integration suite. Okay, now what are the different variations we can see in this allowed headers? One is using asterisk, the other one is using header name. Okay, header name. Okay, when you use asterisk, what will happen? For example, if postman is sending 10 headers by default, okay, if you use asterisk key here, if you use asterisk key in the allowed headers field, CPI will capture all these 10 headers along with your message, and it will send the same data to the target. It will send the same data to the same headers to the target along with our camel headers as well, camel and SAP headers. Okay, what CPI will do when you use asterisk key here, it will add postman 10 headers plus whatever the camel headers and our integration suite specific SAP headers. Okay, is it clear, guys? Now, but in general this approach is not recommended. Why? Because if you keep on sending unnecessary headers to your target system may not accept all the headers and your message may fail. Okay, that's the reason in the real time in my project what we are following is we will not allow all the headers, that is for sure. Instead, what we are doing, we are allowing only headers what we want. We are allowing only headers what we want from the sender system. For example, I want to capture some xyz header value. Okay, xyz header value from the sender system. Then in the allowed headers, I will write xyz field header name. Okay, then now what will happen when the postman or your sender system trigger the message, CPI will check this property, allowed headers property, and it will go to this xyz header from your postman and read the data and store it in the CI. Okay, store it in the CPI. And if you want to use that variable, use that header value, then you need to configure that in the content modifier header or property using the source type as header, Okay, is it clear now? Any questions? Revant, Krisha, any Monica, Monisha, any doubts in this concept? It is very important. Okay, this concept we will use across different scenarios throughout our training. Okay, only one thing you need to remember, we have a field called allowed headers. This field is responsible to hold the header values, to hold or to allow the not hold allow to allow the header values from the sender system to our integration suite. Okay, now going back here, and you have also learned about how to read the header value, right? Go to your content modifier, and in the header place, just use the source type, as header, and copy the value from postman to the CPI variable, right? Is it clear? What is the use case of header source type here? The source type of header in the content modifier is used to capture the header data from your source system and store it in a variable and store it in a variable defined in the header properties, defined in the message header tab. Okay. Okay. Now let me pause it out over here. So far we have learned three different source types. One is header, the other one is expression, and the other one is constant. Okay. We have few more source types also. We'll learn slowly. Okay, what is this global variable, local variable, number range, property, and all XPath? We will learn slowly. Okay, I'm pausing it over here for the headers. Okay, now if you go to the properties, and click on add, you will also see the same thing. Whatever you have seen in the message header, you will see the same thing in the property also. Okay, then what is the difference? When it is same like header, why we have this exchange property tab? Okay, now here comes the basic definition. Okay, basic definition comes into picture here. I have iterated multiple times that message means header, body, and attachment. Header, body, and attachment. Okay, we are supposed to send a message to the target system, right? When we are sending a message to the target system, instead, along with the message, we are also sending headers to it, headers to the target system, right? Able to understand it, no? Okay, let me show in the diagrammatical way. Here is this message. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, now you see here. When I say message means headers, attachments, and body. Okay, first this message will reach to our CPI, our integration suite. When it reaches to our integration suite, if you allow the headers, it may contain what this message contains: the headers from the source system plus integration suite headers, right? Integration suite headers, and this is the message inside the integration suite. And now if you are going to send this message to your target system, as the message contains all the headers and integration suite headers, right? Your target system may ask you like, hey boss, why are you sending unnecessary headers to me? I don't want all these headers from you. Okay, I don't want all the unnecessary headers, I want only specific headers. Okay, in that case you need to rely on this properties section. Okay, this properties section, whatever you declared in the properties, the variables details, the logics will not go to the target system. If you declared in the header section, these variables will go to the target system. Target may not require our own CPI variables to be sent to them. Okay, that is the reason we have this properties tab. In short, you need to remember this: if you declare anything in the header, that will go to the target system. Okay, if you want to implement any logics using some variables inside the CPI, always the recommended approach is to declare those things inside the exchange property, not in the message headers. The functionality is same, guys. Okay, whatever you see, it's a constant type, and I'll say like variable wherefore constant. Okay, from properties, from property. Okay, let me save it. The functionality is same. See, look and feel is also very same. I'm going to the body. Here I'm writing data from exchange property tab. Okay, now same like how you call your header, we have a syntax to call the property as well. property property dot variable name. What is our variable name? It's a var4. Okay, now deploy this, send the data, and now you see in the headers we have var1 var2, but there is no var4 because variable 4 is not a header, it's a property that will not be shooted out to the target system. Okay, now click on this wrench symbol, open the end message. Now you see the properties, see here the variable 4, it is a where it is inside the properties, not in the headers, right? That is the reason whatever the variables you declared in header, we have to be very cautious. Okay, we need to think whether that particular header is really required by the target system or not. If it is required, then only declared in the message header tab, otherwise always prefer to use in the exchange property tab only. Always prefer using the exchange property tab. Okay, functionality wise everything is same. The thing is, when you declare in header, it will go to the target system. When you declare in property, it will submerge here inside itself in the integration suite. Okay, any questions on this topic, guys? Any questions? Is it clear, or is it creating any confusion? In short, let me summarize. Today we have discussed about two tabs inside the content modifier. The first one is header tab, the other one is exchange property tab. Okay, okay. The header tab is exclusively used when you want to send this header data to your target system, okay, whereas it's a vice versa story with the properties. Okay, these properties, whatever the variables you have declared inside the properties, these variables will submerged inside the integration suite and this data will not go to the target system. Okay, hope this point is very clear. Okay, the next concept what we have discussed today is how to allow the headers from your sender system. How to allow in runtime, in our integration flow runtime, we have a field called allowed headers. Using this field, we can allow all the headers, or you can allow whatever the header you want to read from the sender system, right? When you allow any header, how to read the value, how to read and store the value from the header? Go to the content modifier, message or property, anything is fine. Okay, but just you need to select the source type as header and select the header value here and your variable name here. Okay, verify. Okay, so these are the important and basic concepts what we have discussed today. Okay, let me write it down over here. We have discussed about allowed headers, content modifier, source type, what we have discussed, source type, header, comma, and even we have yesterday we have discussed about expression and constant. Okay, any questions, guys?